Hello, CigarPage, Alex Svensson here, and today I'm doing a video because I want to tell you all about my top 10 under 10. I gotta be honest with you, when I set out to do this, I thought it may be really hard, and then in the end, I ended up with 12 under 10, 12 cigars under 10, just simply because I couldn't decide. So what started out as my 10 under 10 is now going to be my 12 under 10, but I'm still gonna call it my 10 under 10. Anyway, let's hit the ground running. And before I get started, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel and to turn on your notifications. Thank you. So let me tell you about the first cigar in my top 10 under 10, Oliva Black Swan. Let me tell you why I love this cigar. It uses a real Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. There are not many cigars that continue to use real Connecticut broadleaf. Certainly a lot of the new cigars that are coming out to market are not using this. They're using more Pennsylvania broadleaf, Mexican San Andres Maduro, Habano Maduros, all other kinds of Maduros. The reason for this is that not many people are growing broadleaf in Connecticut anymore. The supply is very short, and it's mainly being eaten up by a lot of the larger brands who are trying to preserve the blends and the recipes on some of their longer standing lines. So this is a real Connecticut broadleaf. Do not be fooled by impersonators. It is also some of the top selection. The cigar itself is silky, it's creamy, it's got a ton of flavor, a lot of espresso and leathery notes. I love smoking this thing. It's medium body, but it's got a lot of complexity and a lot of character. So this is a great cigar and one of my favorites for the top 10 under 10. Next, I want to talk to you guys about, let's do this guy, the CHC Series E. Love this cigar. In fact, I loved it so much that when they finished the production, I bought all of them, and it is now only available at CigarPage because we literally bought out the entire production for the first production and every production thereafter. So only available at CigarPage. It is made for Crowned Heads by Iradio Pichardo in Honduras. He makes some great blends, some great cigars. It's got a Habano wrapper. It's medium. Some people might call it more of a medium to full. Great cigar, lot of character, great balance. Love this cigar for top 10 and under 10. All right, next up, I want to talk to you about Rocky Patel Sun Grown. This brand has been on the market for a very long time, and I've always enjoyed it. Rocky's putting out new stuff all the time, every year, but I like the OG, and you can definitely get this in part of the top 10, under 10. It's Sumatra Ecuador wrapper. It's rolled at Plasencia's Parayaso factory in Honduras, and it is just a great cigar, and it's always been a staple. So this definitely is top 10 under 10. Cigars medium to full body. Again, a lot of great character. All right, moving on. La Palina White Label. I don't smoke a ton of Connecticut's. I mean, I do, but I wouldn't say that there are a lot in my lineup. But what Connecticut's are in my lineup is this guy. I love this cigar with a cup of coffee in the morning, or maybe when I'm just looking for something a little bit more light and refreshing, and I'm not wanting to think about the cigar very much. Why do I say not think about the cigar very much? It's because the cigar doesn't make you work for it. It's elegant, don't get me wrong, but the flavors are very obvious. The cigar is nice, and it's creamy, and it's got some great bready notes to it. It's everything you would love from a great Connecticut. So I love the La Palina White Connecticut. That's why it's part of my top 10, under 10. Perhaps cigar that I think defines value and has been on the market for a while, but when it's consistently a great seller here at CigarPage, but it's also a great seller in the industry, is the New World by AJ Fernandez. AJ Fernandez has been around for a long time, but I will say that the launch of his New World brand is really, I think, what put him more on the board than any other cigar he's ever made. And what's best about this is that it's a great price point. It's real Mexican San Andres Maduro. It's got a lot of quality. If you like a lot of Nicaraguan cigars and a lot of Esteli filler, it's got a lot of that great kind of spice and earthiness that you love, and it's complemented really well with the Maduro wrapper. So this definitely is in my top 10, under 10. Batter up, what's next? Ooh, La Aurora Ambassador. This is a new one that I bet you haven't smoked. Why? Because we just got it. These were in the market about 10 years ago. They've just relaunched them, and like the CHC Series E, you're only going to find this here at CigarPage. Why? Very similarly, as soon as I smoked it when they were making their first production and getting ready to take this nationally to market, I bought the entire first production, and I committed to the next productions for the next 2 years, which means you're only going to get this here. You know why this cigar is so damn special? It's because of the Arapiraca wrapper grown in Brazil. One thing I can say about La Aurora is they have one of the biggest libraries of tobaccos to work from. They are just incredible makers, and what else would you expect from a factory that's been around for over 100 years, Dominican Republic's oldest cigar brand. So they have access to tobaccos no one else has, and getting tobacco out of Brazil has been increasingly difficult. It's very competitive to try to get these leaves because Brazil is an emerging economy, is planning a lot more things, and has other agricultural focus outside of tobacco, so just less of it's being grown, including including this Arapaca Maduro wrapper. So definitely check out La Aurora Ambassador. It's one of new cigars here, but it's already made its way into my top 10 under 10. Next up, we have the Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Nicaragua. This is actually made by A.J. Fernandez for Altadas. It's one of Altadas's arguably most famous heritage brands. This cigar, I don't always agree with all of the experts and their ratings, but on this one, I can. This cigar was rated number 2 by Cigar Aficionado in their top, or was ranked number 2 by Cigar Aficionado in their top 25 list, and it got 97 points. I can say in this instance, this cigar earned every bit of those 97 points. And while it can be a little bit more expensive, when you get them on deal, it definitely qualifies for my top 10 under 10, and I couldn't forget about this cigar. A lot of complexity, full-bodied. If you like a cigar that just, you're smoking it, all those great flavors and complexities are just hitting the palate, this is the one for you. So the Monte Cristo 1935 Nicaraguan Maduro is on my list. Next cigar is Record Bond Limitada. Love this cigar, mainly because of its throwback kind of to a bygone era, to a lot of the old branding and old school things that bring in the heritage. There's a lot of nostalgia to this brand for me. Always really liked it. And the Limitada's got a broadleaf wrapper that I absolutely love. A lot of flavor. Comes out of one of my favorite factories, the Pajes factory. So this is one of my top 10, under 10, and there's going to be one more from Pajes. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of his stuff. Next up, let's see what do we have here. Oh, the EP Carrillo Honduras. When it comes to EP Carrillo, for me, some of the stuff's hit and miss in terms of what I like. All of it sells well, and I recommend everything. He's a tremendous blender. But the Honduras, I really enjoy, and I enjoy it because I find it to be a good value. That's why it's part of my 10 under 10. But I also love the fact that on this project, he collaborated with Nestor Plasencia, arguably one of the other great blenders in the world, to come up with a cigar that captures all of the essence of Honduras. That's why he calls it the EP Carrillo Essence line, and this is the Honduran subset. So if you like a good Honduran cigar, think back to the old days of the old Villazon and Punch and Frank Yaneza. This is what actually captures that history in Honduras. So it is definitely part of my top 10 under 10. This cigar, Oliva Serie V, the original, the OG. I do love the Milanios and all the other offshoots that Oliva's done, but this is the original Oliva Serie V. And since 2007, I would say I am smoking one of these every day. This cigar has been in my regular rotation longer than any cigar since I started smoking cigars. I absolutely love the Oliva Serie V, and I'll tell you why. It's because of how they work this Ligero. They're really the first company, back when everybody was going strength, 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 they wanted to lean into the strength too, and also into Ligero, but they also wanted it to have a lot of flavor. So I really credit Oliva's cigar company with coming up with some innovative ways that they're processing the tobacco that brings you that strength, but also brings you a lot of great flavor. It's not just about strength. So Oliva Serie V was the pioneer in that, and I absolutely cannot have my top 10 under 10 without having an Oliva Serie V in this lineup. Next up, we're going back to Pajes. This is my favorite cigar that I've smoked all year. This is the Last of My Kind Edición Limitada. Love this cigar, and it all comes down to the wrapper. This is a Sumatra Ecuador Maduro wrapper. Maduro? Sumatra Ecuador? Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy because you don't get a lot of Maduro. Why? Because this wrapper comes from the top priming of the plant. That's what makes it thick enough to undergo that extended fermentation process without actually damaging the tobacco. And in that process, it gets nice, dark, and very sweet. So it maintains a lot of some of that interesting spiciness that you get from a Sumatra Ecuador, but also brings out a lot of that sweetness that comes from a Maduro. There's only about enough wrapper to make 50,000 of these cigars a year. So this is one of my favorites. They're frequently out of stock, but if you can find them when they're in stock, great price, highly recommend it. That's why it's part of my top 10 under 10. Number 12, Jossam Crawl. This is a brand that is ultra boutique, and I don't think anyone's heard of it prior to this year, but since we brought it on over at CigarPage, it's doing tremendously well. How well do you ask? I talked to the owner, and now you can only buy this brand at CigarPage. Not just this Red Night edition, which is part of my top 10 under 10, but all Jossam Crawl in the United States are now exclusively available at CigarPage. I love what Risty does. Risty Buck, the owner of Jossam Crawl, he's got an excellent palate. He's put a lot of work into this brand. It's very personal to him and his heritage and his Macedonian heritage. But what I also love is that he partnered with Machito in Nicaragua and the W Cigar Factory. It's an up-and-coming cigar factory, but Machito and Rodriguez and his history with cigars and his family's history, it all comes together to create these really innovative blends. I love the construction, I love the flavor, I love everything they're doing, and the price is absolutely unbeatable. This cigar is medium, some will call it medium to full, Habano wrapper. It's got tobaccos from Condega, it's got tobaccos from Jalapa, it's got tobaccos from Esteli. It is absolutely a knockout, very complex, and it's probably, again, one you haven't heard of. It's been flying under the radar, but I'm taking it out from under the radar by putting it in my top 10 under 10. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be pushing the guys to hopefully make some samplers with this stuff, and we want to make sure we get these out in front of you because we are all about delivering you value. So thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe.